All right, we are back in the lab again tonight. My wife fell asleep on the couch, so I figure I've got 15 or 20 minutes in here. Tonight we are going to do a little jig tie and talk. I'm trying to get my stuff together here. I should have already done it. We're going to talk about my favorite baits. I'm going to make you hang out for a bit before I just spill my guts. Get this loop out of my bobbin. All right, and while we talk about that, I'm going to tie just a clear water bait. And I'll try to talk about it a little bit as I go too. You can see I've started out with a plain unpainted jig head. I've already removed the excess barb. I've got some plain silver thread. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to run down just before I get to the point. You guys might be asking, I lured you in here thinking that I was fixing to spill my guts on my favorite baits. And I am. You're probably going to be mad at me when I'm done because you're going to feel cheated. But I'm going to be straight up with you. You can believe me or not, but I'm telling you this is the truth, and this is my opinion on the matter. My favorite bait is probably the ones that I tie, and it's just because the feeling that a person gets when he ties a bait and he puts, every time you tie one of these baits, you're putting a little bit of yourself into it. You're spending time thinking about the feathers. You're spending time thinking about, the fish looking up at it. Are they going to like it? You just put, your heart and soul into one of these little baits. And I'm going to show you some plastics, the plastics that I use that I'm very fond of also. But man, the feeling that you get when you catch fish on one of these baits you made, that's my favorite. All right, I'm just like every other angler. Uh, Anybody that's spent any amount of time fishing has accumulated gobs and gobs and gobs of baits. I mean, they're pouring out all over the place. But some of my favorites, and I really enjoy fishing with plastics too. And I'm going to eventually get into that. But I'm not to a point now where I'm set up to pour my own plastics. But the whole reason I started tying these jigs was not really to sell them. I've not sold any of these, and I don't really plan to. I do, if friends and the people that's in my lives or in my life, if they show interest in these baits, yeah, I'll be neighborly and help them out and supply some. But I don't sell these. The reason I do this is because of the convenience. You can go to the Bass Pro, you can go to Walmart, and you can buy these hair tied jigs. But I can sit here at this table and sit here at this vise, and I can think about what I want. So to me, it's convenience, and it's also I can make anything I want. If I can think it up, or I can see it, or you can even be inspired by these plastics, the colors in these plastics. I'm not a very artistic person, but you know, I can sit here and you can get overwhelmed with deciding what colors and stuff, but I'm chasing a rabbit. Let's get back on favorite baits. The reason these hand ties are my favorite is because the feeling you get when you catch a fish on a bait that you dreamed up or you created, man, that's a feeling that you need to experience. If you're into that kind of stuff, you may not be. Now, favorite plastics. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I like to use materials that are handy. They're convenient. Yes, I'm just like everybody else. I love to go in Bass Pro and I love to get online and look at Barlow's, places like that. But I like to use what I can get my hands on easy. If I'm like spring break and I'm hitting lakes every day, uh, I hate to say it, but I'm in Walmart quite a bit, and one of my favorites, and just because it's easy to get your hands on, is these Bobby Garlands. These Bobby Garlands here are, I'm going to have to put you on mute here just for a second because my it sounds like somebody woke my wife up in there. Hang on just a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I tell you what, you wake Mama Bear up and you might get scratched a little bit. So back to what we were talking about. I like using stuff I can get my hands on easy, and I've said that. I like these Bobby Garlands. I like these Monkey Milks. I fished a gray a bunch. It's not really a clear water lake, but I tell you, the majority of these live scopers, they really key in on that muddy water. Uh, those muddy water lakes. I'd call the gray, yeah, it's clear water, but it's not like Lake Ouachita. But clear water or lakes like the gray, the dingy water. It's clean water. It's not muddy. It doesn't look like coffee with creamer in it. This monkey milk is good. And these Bobby Garlands, man, they're in every store. And they've got colors like crazy. This little old monkey milk here, and if you've read my reports, I say this a bunch, but this little old Bobby Garland here, man, it's soft plastic, and them crappie are rough on them. They will eat this thing and rip it in no time. But I like them. I like a soft plastic. Uh, a lot of people like durability. They like to be able to fish with, a lot of, you know, fish a long time with a single plastic. But to me, there's a trade-off in soft plastic. You see that little tail wiggling? You don't have to sit up there on the bow of that boat and work that rod like that. You just have to hold it. You just have to hold it still. And the movement of the water and the movement of the boat alone. Look, I can't even hold that thing still. Look at that thing wiggling. And when it gets in the water, it's going to, it's kind of sagging down like a limp noodle. But in the water, it's going to be floating. It's going to be sitting there. And that little tail is going to be going to town, even when you don't realize it. When I'm on the bow of that boat, I'm not sitting here doing this. Most of the time, if I'm vertical fishing and providing them a vertical presentation, I'm holding that rod still. And in any amount of movement that my boat causes my bait to do, that's usually enough. And a soft plastic will give that to you. That's why I like them. Monkey milk, man, it's a proven color. Now, old Mr. Crappie, I promise you, you don't need no help. You don't need no help from Abernathy promoting his baits. But I'm just telling you what I use and what I like. This little bait right here, it's called it's a Glimmer Blue. It's Mr. Crappie's version of monkey milk. It's same thing, different profile. And this bait right here, or this profile, I want you to look at that tail. That's the same thing. That little old tail right there, man, you just hold that rod still and let the movement of that water, the movement of that boat, man, that's enough. This is probably my favorite profile right here. Now you can see a little bit of that monkey milk. I hope you can see it, and if you fished any, you know what the color monkey milk looks like. But if you look at it, there's a little bit of glimmer blue in it, and depending on, if you just glance at it, yeah, that's kind of a creamy clear color, and it's got some small black flake. But if you let the sunlight hit it and you turn it in that light, it's got a blue hue to it, a blue glimmer. And that blue, I think, is the deadly potion to this bait, color-wise. Profile, that's one of my favorites. Let's see, man, we already 12 minutes and we ain't even tied a jig yet. I've got plenty of them here. I'm fixing to shut up and start tying. But Bobby Garland has one of those profiles. It's called a Slab Slayer. Now this is a 2-inch. This is Bobby Garland's version of it. I'm a fan of orange quite a bit too. Muddy Water. This is a black. It's got some red flake in it. It's got that chartreuse tail. Man, if I'm in muddy water, it doesn't matter if I'm up in the river into gray. If you get up there in that river into gray, especially after we've had some rain, that water will look like coffee with creamer in it. Just a little bit of creamer. And if I'm in that water like that, man, this black body really does pretty good. If I'm on a place like, I've had quite a bit of luck on Millwood. Millwood typically stays muddy most of the time. I've had quite a bit of good luck with this. Now, in the summer, I'll throw one of these. This is a 2-inch. In the summer, with those big fish on Millwood, I'll go to a 3-inch version of this. But still, same profile. White's a good one. That's one of my favorites. If you made me choose one profile, it would be a Slab Slinger. If you made me choose 3 colors, it would be this one. For those muddy water scenarios, you cannot go wrong with a black and chartreuse. This is a proven combo. People's been using that color for years. If I'm in clear water, you're going to see me throwing a monkey milk, at least starting with one. Man, I like a I like a white and chartreuse. I like any of these if, you know, monkey milk doesn't always, you know, I like to change things up in fish. If you throw the same thing on a brush pile, and you know, they get to they learn. You might want to change it up a little bit and throw something like this. It's a shad style, but it's got some black, white flake, and it's kind of translucent a little bit, at least on the top half. But and that's it. That's my go-tos. You know, this with the, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of my success has to do on the ability to, I use live scope. Call me a cheater, you know, this is gonna sound arrogant, call me successful, you know, I am successful most of the time. And I believe it's not necessarily these colors. I think that our electronics and me being able to look at that live scope, I've spent a lot of time on it. I've looked at that screen a bunch. I'm familiar with what I'm seeing on the screen. I believe being able to put a bait of a particular profile on the end of one of those crappies noses is more important than necessarily the color. I'm not dismissing the importance of color, because color is important, but to me, the profile is more important. Are you presenting that crappie with a big old fat bait? Are you, is the you know, is the water muddy? Is it, you know, I believe, I could be wrong, this is my opinion, but and I think about this when I'm fishing. Um, Crappie or any fish, they don't necessarily have to see what they're eating. You know, they have the ability to sense things around them. They know when a boat's around them. Um, you get a fish closer, you know, 6-7 feet of you. That's why we like those 12 foot, those 13 foot long rods. You get close to them, they have the ability to feel vibrations and things like that. They don't necessarily have to see what they stick in their mouth. Um, and a real easy way to think about that: fish eat in the dark, uh, and they do that by using more than their eyesight. So that's to me, that's why these profiles are more important than color. Our electronics allow us to stick things literally on the end of their nose, and that takes a little bit of the importance of color away. Some of it. I'm not, don't misunderstand me. I'm not taking color away. All right, that's my favorite baits, and I'm like everybody else. You open up the drawer or the bait box on my boat, and there's plenty of selection to use. These are the ones that, if you made me choose, that's what I would choose. Convenience, what I'm able to get my hands on, uh, and the profiles and things like that. Let's whip this thing up real quick, and we're already at 20 minutes. This is just going to be a lifelike bait, nothing fancy. We're just going to tie something up realistic real quick. You might also ask, man, why in the world are you telling us that? I'll have to admit, it may seem strange, and again, you can believe me or you can call me a liar. I've been caught worse. But I don't have no hidden agenda. All I like to do, and it's the same reason I spit those reports out for the gray. I just want you to catch a fish. And that's my goal. If I can share what I'm doing along the way, and you learn a thing or two, and I learn a thing or two, man, I have reached my goal. That's all I want to do. I want to help people catch fish. That's my goal. We've got a white here. I'm going to put I've got some blue feather here, just a little bit. I am just going to grab a very small strand of that. There's 3 strands of feather. And I'm going to spread those out. Grab a hold of them. I'm going to cinch them down. There's not much there, but there's a little bit. Just something a little bit to offset that white. So let's pick some. I'm a big fan of these critter legs. This has got a lot of black flake in it. It's got a lot of sparkle in it. You're not gonna see it. There's some. It's got some green flake in it. It's got some glimmer blues in it. Trim it up a little bit. Alright, what are we going to use for a body? Let's use some of this white. Now, this has a lot of flake in it too. It's got a little tinsel in it. And when you spin it around, there's greens, there's pinks, there's blues. I'm going to lock it down. Now I'm going to tag this up just to break up some of this white. I've got a black tinsel here that it's kind of small, and you can already see the flash in it, but it's got some of that blue glimmer that I'm so fond of in monkey milk. Man, it's in here. I'm going to use it. I'm going to cinch it down. Now, right now, I've basically got 2 strings here, and I'm just going to pull it down to the end. Get to my stopping point. Go back to the top. Get them fibers out of the way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist these. And I'm going to twist it not really tight. I want the bulk of this to be white, but I want it broke up a little bit with some of that glimmer black and blue. So I'm going to twist it just a little bit, and you're still going to have to kind of twist it as you go. But once I get it twisted, I'm going to start wrapping. Now the way these twists land, it's not going to quite look like a candy cane like you would expect. And depending on how you twist it is how much black or how much white you're going to see. Now I'm not crowding that head. I started to go, but you see me back it up. We'll go that side, this side, one more time, and then I'm going to snip it. Now I've got my finger here, and I always push that thread out of the way because you'll snip that thread if you don't watch it. All right, we're going to wrap it just a little bit. I need to clip it just a little bit better. Let me clip it a little bit more. There we go. Wrap it some more. My old dog's at the door. She usually stays under my feet. Goes everywhere I go, but she was occupied and I shut the door. And she's wanting in. Not bad. Let's finish this thing up. 26 minutes. Woo! Wrap this thing up. I don't know about y'all, but our water's been out for a little bit. It ain't gonna be long. We're gonna be in the creek. Going down there for a booty sloosh. Let's seal this thing up. I'll show it to you. Man, we done messed around, and it's the longest one yet. Alright, where's my... It's about time to clean this desk off a little bit. Not bad. Turned out all right. You can see those blues a little bit if you look for them. You have to work really hard for them, but they're there. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's a lot of fun. All right. See you guys next time.